Good afternoon. An announcement for our ASL viewers. Due to the importance of showing unobstructed videos, we ask that our ASL viewers use the WebEx link provided in the description of the live stream. For viewers who would like this town hall meeting translated, please click on the WebEx link in the live stream description and click the icon in the bottom left corner to select your preferred language.
Good afternoon. We are here today for a virtual town hall regarding an officer-involved shooting that occurred on Saturday, August 6, 2022 at 18th and Shotwell Streets. Before proceeding, I'd like to announce to our viewing and listening audience that this town hall is being translated into Spanish, Cantonese, and American Sign Language, ASL, for members of our community who speak those languages. Today's presentation will include details from an officer-involved shooting incident that occurred between uniformed San Francisco police officers and 51-year-old Jose Covera. In the San Francisco Police Department, we recognize that our sworn duty as law enforcement officers imposes no more solemn obligation on us than to honor and respect the sanctity of life. We also know that as police officers, we are sometimes required to use force, including deadly force, at times in the performance of our duties. We recognize, too, that officer-involved shootings can have a traumatic effect on members of our communities, especially for individuals, their families, and loved ones who have suffered traumas of their own in encounters with the criminal justice system, wherever it may be. To any of our viewers experiencing trauma from this incident or from the information or images that we will present during this town hall, please know that help is available to you. You may contact the San Francisco Department of Public Health Crisis Line at 415-970-3800 for trauma services. Here's what we hope to accomplish today. First and foremost, in the San Francisco Police Department's aspiration to be a national model of 21st century policing, we work to earn the trust of those we serve by committing to transparency and to the tenets of procedural justice in this process and in this town hall presentation. Procedural justice depends on the legitimacy of police as well as our entire criminal justice system. With these town halls, we work to embody the foundational tenets of what procedural justice is all about. We will release the facts known to us at this time about this incident. We will do so in a manner that is impartial and neutral. We will answer questions from members of the public as well as members of the news media, and we will listen to public feedback. Commander Paul Yep will be presenting the facts in this case in a few minutes. Before turning the floor over to him, however, I want to emphasize that this incident is subject to multiple independent and ongoing investigations. As such, there may be some information that we cannot release at this time, either because the release of certain information is prohibited by law, or because the release of certain information could compromise an ongoing investigation, or because certain facts have not yet been established with certainty. In other words, we are not able to release unconfirmed information. Next, Commander Paul Yep's presentation will include a detailed verbal narrative of the facts as we know them, as well as audio and video content from the officer-involved shooting incident. SFPD officers who responded to the scene were wearing department-issued body-worn cameras, which were activated at the time of this incident. Consistent with our body-worn camera policy, Department General Order 10.11, you will see body-worn camera or BWC video from the officers from multiple perspectives. At the San Francisco Police Department, our commitment to full transparency has guided our officer-involved shooting investigations and town halls for several years now. Our commitment to the public includes holding a town hall within 10 days of the incident. Although our practices predate the enactment of many police transparency and accountability laws in California, We believe our approach has remained consistent with the letter and spirit of reforms implemented by Senate Bill 1421 for police transparency and Assembly Bill 1506 for police accountability. SFPD's commitment to transparency in the process will also be reflected in our release of information online. Video from this town hall, including audio recordings from 911 calls or dispatcher calls, and video footage I just mentioned will be posted on SFPD's website at sanfranciscopolice.org. There it will remain available in perpetuity for public viewing. The San Francisco Police Department directives mandate that we release the names of officers from officer-involved shootings unless safety concerns argue against disclosure. In this matter, we identified no safety concerns, and Commander Paul Yep will release the names of the officers as a part of his presentation. I would like to explain now the investigative processes for an officer-involved shooting. Next, San Francisco has a multi-agency response to officer-involved shootings, and each agency's investigation is independent. Whenever an officer-involved shooting occurs in San Francisco involving an on-duty San Francisco police officer, the following agencies are immediately notified. The SFPD's Investigative Services Detail is the unit responsible for investigating the events that led up to the officer-involved shooting. The SFPD's Internal Affairs Division is responsible for conducting an administrative investigation to determine if the officer or officers responsible for the O.I.S. are in compliance with the standards and requirements of SFPD policy. Although the investigation of both SFPD units can run in parallel, each has distinctive investigative purviews and focus. Each maintains a strict internal firewall to comply with legal standards and requirements. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office, their Independent Investigations Bureau, or IIB, is responsible for determining the legality of the officer-involved shooting. Based on their independent investigation and review, the District Attorney of the County of San Francisco will make the final decision as to whether the officers or officers' action complied with the laws of the state of California. The San Francisco Department of Police Accountability, or DPA, also conducts an independent administrative investigation. San Francisco voters created DPA as a successor to the Office of Citizen Complaints with their passage of Proposition D in the June 2016 election. DPA investigates all SFPD incidents in which any of our officers discharge a weapon within the course and scope of their duties, whenever that discharge results in an individual's injury or death. Finally, I'd like to point out that we take community feedback very seriously, and based on feedback from prior officer-involved shooting town halls, we will also take questions and answer them to the extent that we are able today, understanding that this incident remains an ongoing investigation. We will allocate 1 hour for public comments and questions and conclude this town hall at approximately 6:15 p.m. or when there are no more callers, whichever comes first. Thank you very much for joining us today. And now, Commander Paul Yep.
Thank you very much, Chief Scott. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Commander Paul Yep of the Risk Management Office, and I will be providing a summary of an officer-involved shooting incident involving members of the San Francisco Police Department. The officer-involved shooting, or O.I.S. incident, discussed in this presentation occurred on Saturday, August 6, 2022, at approximately 7:55 a.m. on Shotwell Street at 18th Street in San Francisco's Mission District. This incident involved uniformed patrol members of the San Francisco Police Department from the Mission Police District and Bayview Police District. Of the numerous officers on scene during the O.I.S. incident, a majority of the officers completed Crisis Intervention Team, or CIT, training. 3 of the 4 officers who discharged their weapons have completed CIT training. Officers who are CIT trained have completed a 40-hour California Peace Officers Standards and Training, or post-certified course which prepares them to respond to persons in crisis incidents and, as a team, formulate a plan, establish rapport, and use de-escalation tactics, including tactical repositioning and creating time and distance, whenever possible, to safely resolve a person in crisis incident. Of the officers on scene during the O.I.S. incident, 17 have also completed Critical Mindset Coordinated Response, or CMCR training. One of the 4 officers who discharged their weapons has completed CMCR training. CMCR is a 20-hour post-certified training course developed by the San Francisco Police Department's Field Tactics Force Options, or FTFO, unit. This course addresses high-risk situations encountered by officers out in the field. Training objectives include critical decision-making during high-risk incidents. Officers gain a deeper understanding of how to resolve these incidents with a coordinated and tactically sound approach using teamwork and leadership. In this presentation and the body-worn camera footage that will be shown later, you may hear the following terminology and radio code language commonly used by officers. 221. 221 is police radio code for person with a gun. 917. 917 is police radio code for suspicious person. Bearcat. A Bearcat is an armored vehicle used to provide ballistic protection to officers and citizens during rescue, critical incidents, and other hazardous situations. These vehicles allow officers closer access to high-risk situations while substantially reducing the physical risks to officers and citizens. BWC. BWC is body-worn camera. Code 33. Code 33 is police radio code for emergency, clear the radio channel. Crisis/hostage negotiations team. Crisis Hostage Negotiations Team is often referred to as HNT, whose members are on-call specialized officers and sergeants trained to assist in resolving through communication the following types of incidents: crisis and hostage situations, barricaded subjects, high-risk suicide threats, and high-risk warrant service. Critical incident. A critical incident is a life-threatening situation that requires a coordinated tactical response in a defined terrain objective. Examples include barricaded subjects, hostage situations, and sniper situations. Command post. A command post is often referred to as the CP, Operational Command Post, or OCP. The command post is a location established by the operational commander, who is the source of command authority, decisions, and media information. It is also responsible for establishing and maintaining an outer perimeter. Dispatch. Dispatch is the Department of Emergency Management Radio Dispatcher. O.I.S. An O.I.S. is an officer-involved shooting. Public safety statement. A public safety statement is information obtained by a supervisor at an officer-involved shooting using questions intended to determine existing threats to public safety and identify transitory evidence that must be preserved. The scope of this statement is limited to the collection of such critical, fleeting information in the immediate aftermath of these critical incidents. It is the department's policy to deactivate body-worn cameras before obtaining public safety statements, and the policy instructs the supervisor to remind the involved officers not to discuss the incident further. Specialist team. The specialist team is an on-call specialized unit, often referred to as SPECs, within the Special Operations Bureau, consisting of patrol officers and sergeants trained in responding to high-priority crimes in progress, resolving critical incidents, dignitary protection, crowd control, waterborne operations, and assisting the tactical unit with high-risk warrant service. Tactical unit. The tactical unit is a full-time, specialized unit, often referred to as TAC, within the Special Operations Bureau, trained in serving high-risk warrants, resolving critical incidents, dignitary protection, crowd patrol, and waterborne operations. Tactical emergency medics. Tactical emergency medics are San Francisco Fire Department members embedded with the San Francisco Police Department Tactical Unit to immediately render aid at the scene of critical incidents, active shooters, and high-risk warrant service. I will now provide an incident summary. The precise chronology of this incident is currently under investigation. The times presented are approximate. The following is a summary of the events as they are understood as of today, Monday, August 15th, 2022. At approximately 7:55 a.m., two uniformed San Francisco Police Department officers assigned to the Mission District were on patrol in a marked department vehicle. Officer number 1 is an officer in the field training program, while officer number 2 is his field training officer. The two officers observed a subject pushing a red bicycle while riding a blue bicycle on the sidewalk. Officer number 2 recalled a recent crime alert regarding a stolen bicycle from the area. Crime alerts are bulletins disseminated to San Francisco Police Department members by investigative units to provide information regarding recent crimes. Officer number 1, the passenger in the patrol vehicle, advised the Department of Emergency Management dispatcher, or dispatch, that they were in the area of South Van Ness and 16th Street, where they saw a 917, which is a radio code for suspicious person, riding a blue bicycle with a red bicycle in his hand. The two officers attempted to contact the subject, later identified as Jose Corvera, on the bicycle in the area of Shotwell Street and 18th Street. Body-worn camera footage for both officer number 1 and officer number 2 began while they were driving eastbound on 18th Street and then north onto Shotwell Street. As seen on BWC footage, officer number 1 exited the passenger side of the patrol vehicle to contact Mr. Corvera on the east sidewalk of Shotwell Street, just north of 18th Street. Officer number 2 said, quote, he's running, end quote. Officer number 1 gave chase on foot and announced over his radio, code 33, foot pursuit. Code 33 is a radio code for police emergency, clear the channel. Officer number 1 ran northbound on Shotwell Street and ordered Mr. Corvera to stop. Officer number 1 then yelled 221, which is radio code for person with a gun, and ran back southbound in the direction of his patrol vehicle. According to security camera footage from a nearby building, Mr. Corvera ran north, several feet past a red car parked on the east sidewalk of Shotwell Street. Then he appeared to turn around and crouch behind the hood of a red car while pointing a gun in the direction of the officers. Officer number 2 initially stayed in the patrol vehicle and drove forward as Mr. Corvera fled, but then stopped the patrol vehicle and announced over his radio, hey, 221, code 33. Officer number 2 exited the patrol vehicle and drew his department-issued handgun. Officer number 1 opened the front passenger door of the patrol vehicle and positioned himself behind the door as he drew his department-issued handgun and pointed it in the direction of Mr. Corvera. Officer number 1 and officer number 2 then ordered Mr. Corvera to, quote, drop the gun, end quote, and to, quote, put that gun down, end quote. Officer number 1 also yelled, quote, drop that gun on the floor or you will be shot. Put it on the floor, end quote. The two officers then warned a nearby bystander to get back. While the two officers continued to give orders to Mr. Corvera to surrender, what sounded like a gunshot could be heard. This occurred while officer number 2 was attempting to provide an updated location to dispatch. At this time, officer number 1 and officer number 2 discharged their department-issued handguns. Due to officer number 2's radio transmission being cut off, dispatch announced their last known location, which was previously given by officer 1 as South Van Ness and 16th Street. Officer number 2 announced over his radio, quote, shots fired, end quote. Officer number 1 continued to order Mr. Corvera to get on the ground and drop the gun. Mr. Corvera could be heard yelling at the officers from behind the red car. Officer number 2 clarified to dispatch that their location was 18th and Shotwell and repositioned behind a red truck parked on the west sidewalk of Shotwell Street as numerous officers responded to the area. As officer number 1 continued to speak to Mr. Corbera, officer number 2 updated units over the radio with a safe avenue of approach and the location of Mr. Corbera behind the red car, adding, quote, "He's still got the gun. Shots were fired. He's behind the car. He's still not cooperative," end quote. The acting lieutenant of Mission Station arrived on scene, took command, and immediately requested officers to bring shields for cover. Officer number 2 announced over the radio, quote, "Suspect already took a shot at us," end quote. Officer number 2 advising the acting lieutenant, quote, "He's behind the car. Sarge, get down. He's already shot at us," end quote. Officer number 2 updated arriving backup units of the situation as they took up positions behind various vehicles. Mr. Corbera could be heard yelling, quote, "Get out of here," end quote. During the course of the incident, the acting lieutenant coordinated units and developed a plan. He directed officers, including other supervisors, as they arrived on scene. The acting lieutenant, in conjunction with the other supervisors on scene, organized resources such as shields and rifles and managed scene security for officer and bystander safety. The acting lieutenant also worked with the other supervisors on scene to reposition officers as necessary to minimize avenues of escape and deconflict potential crossfire issues. Throughout the incident, the supervisors managed various backup officers' duties, including contact officer, shield cover, rifle cover, crowd control, and traffic control. At approximately 7:58 a.m., 3 minutes after the start of the incident, a crisis intervention team trained officer that was briefed by officer number 2 took over as primary contact officer and began speaking to Mr. Corbera. The contact officer ordered Mr. Corbera to put the gun down. Mr. Corbera replied, quote, "No, get out of here. I don't want to see you," end quote. During their dialogue, Mr. Corbera provided his first name to the contact officer. Officer number 3 arrived on scene as backup, equipped with a department-issued rifle. Officer number 3 was briefed on the situation and was directed by a supervisor to serve as a cover officer for the contact officer. Officer number 3 requested and was soon provided with an additional shield for cover, while the contact officer continued to speak with Mr. Corbera. Although the primary contact officer was conversing with Mr. Corbera in English, another officer attempted to start a dialogue with Mr. Corbera in Spanish. Mr. Corbera responded in English and Spanish to the officers, but did not comply with either their commands to surrender. Officer number 3 confirmed with the supervisor on scene that he could see a gun in Mr. Corbera's hand. Officer number 3 warned nearby officers that, quote, "He's got it pointed in this direction. It's pointed in our direction from behind the front hood," end quote. Mr. Corbera could be heard saying to the contact officer, quote, "No, I can't talk to you. Leave, go," end quote. Officer number 4 arrived on scene and was equipped with a department-issued rifle. Officer number 4 was briefed on the situation by officer number 2. The contact officer said to Mr. Corbera, quote, "Jose, how can we help you today?" End quote. Which to Mr. Corbera responded, quote, "Nothing, just go," end quote. At 8:03 a.m., approximately 8 minutes after the start of the incident, the acting lieutenant declared a critical incident and established a command post. He and other supervisors requested additional resources, including the San Francisco Police Department Tactical Unit, the Crisis/Hostage Negotiation Team, or CHNT, and for medical personnel to stage in the area. After the critical incident was declared, tactical unit members, and specialist team members responded to the scene to assist with the incident. A supervisor on scene updated officers and warned over the radio that Mr. Corvera is pointing the gun at the officers. A supervisor on scene then requested a shelter-in-place announcement for nearby residents and also requested additional units to help clear the area of bystanders for their safety. At approximately 8:08 a.m., Alert SF, San Francisco's emergency text message system, sent a text message announcement to nearby residents notifying them of the incident. At multiple times during the incident, various officers can be heard saying that Mr. Corvera was pointing his gun in their direction while the contact officer continued to speak with Mr. Corvera. Officer number 3 updated a supervisor that Mr. Corvera was on his knees, peeking over the hood of the red car with the gun in his right hand. Officer number 3 developed a plan with other officers to bring a patrol vehicle onto the west sidewalk of Shotwell Street to provide additional cover. Officer number 3 continuously updated nearby officers of their plan and of Mr. Corvera's movements. Officer number 3 repositioned to the patrol vehicle that was driven onto the sidewalk, moved the patrol vehicle forward a short distance, and took a position behind the driver's side of the patrol vehicle. A supervisor directed the contact officer to holster his department-issued handgun and continue speaking with Mr. Corvera. From the driver's seat of the patrol vehicle, officer number 3 yelled, quote, "He's got the gun pointed. He's got it pointed in this direction," end quote. At this time, approximately 13 minutes after the start of the incident, officer number 3 discharged his department-issued rifle. Officer number 3 advised supervisors that he discharged his rifle and that Mr. Corvera was still crawling around. The contact officer continued to speak with Mr. Corvera, who could be heard yelling, quote, "Get out of here, get out of here," end quote. Officer number 3 confirmed to a nearby supervisor, quote, "I saw a gun, it was pointed at my direction multiple times," end quote. A supervisor advised officers over the radio that an additional officer-involved shooting had just occurred, while the primary contact officer continued to speak with Mr. Corvera. At the direction of supervisors, backup officers relieved officer number 1, officer number 2, and officer number 3. A supervisor positioned officer number 4 to take up officer number 3's previous position behind the patrol vehicle door. Officer number 4 ducked behind the driver's side of the patrol vehicle while warning nearby officers, quote, "He's standing up again. He's pointing the gun again," end quote. While speaking with Mr. Corvera, the contact officer said, quote, "Hey, Jose, I need to talk to you so I can help you. What do you need, man? Yeah, you can make it easy by coming out and talking to me. Jose, hey, nobody wants to hurt you, dude. No, nobody's going to hurt you, man. No one's here to hurt you. We are here to help you," end quote. A supervisor positioned next to the contact officer stated that Mr. Corvera did not appear to be injured. Mr. Corvera could be heard saying, quote, "I don't need no help," end quote. The contact officer said, quote, "Hey, Jose, you got to throw the gun out so we can help you," end quote. Crisis hostage negotiators arrived on scene to assist. Officer number 4 advised a nearby supervisor, "I can see the top of his head. He's still right in front of the hood." The contact officer said, quote, "Jose, put the gun down, come out, and let me know what you need," end quote. At approximately 8:25 a.m., while the contact officer continued to speak to Mr. Corvera, officer number 4 announced to nearby officers, quote, "He's pointing the gun at us. I can't see him, though. I can just see the gun," end quote. During the incident, 2 individuals that were hiding behind a nearby silver vehicle were described by an officer as possibly being involved. A supervisor on scene determined that the two individuals were bystanders, and the information was provided to officers on scene via radio. As the contact officer continued to speak to Mr. Corvera, a supervisor announced, quote, "Watch out, watch out, watch out, the gun's up," end quote. The supervisor advised over radio, quote, "Stand by, he's got the gun up," end quote. At approximately 8:36 a.m., approximately 41 minutes after the start of the incident, Officer number 4 discharged his department-issued rifle. Officer number 4 yelled, quote, "He's still pointing the gun," end quote. Another officer said, quote, "He shot over here," end quote. Officer number 4 responded, quote, "He's still up," end quote. Officer number 4 then shouted an expletive and added, quote, "He shot. I can't see anything besides the gun. He's pointing the gun over," end quote. As another officer said, quote, "He shot over here," end quote. As the contact officer ordered Mr. Corvera to put the gun down, Officer number 4 announced, quote, "He threw it," end quote. At the same time, what sounds like a gunshot can be heard. Officer number 4 yelled an expletive and that, quote, "Gun just went off," end quote. Officer number 4 advised nearby officers, quote, "He threw the gun's right there," end quote. Officer number 4 shouted an expletive and added that it, quote, "went off when he threw it," end quote. The information was relayed to officers on scene via radio. Mr. Corvera was still hiding behind the red car. Officers gave repeated orders for Mr. Corvera to surrender. A supervisor then replaced officer number 4 with another officer. Each of the 4 officers that discharged their firearms provided a public safety statement to supervisors on scene. After repeated commands for Mr. Corvera to surrender, a tactical arrest plan was developed by the tactical unit and specialist team. The contact officer was replaced by a hostage crisis negotiator who began speaking to Mr. Corvera. At approximately 8:48 a.m., approximately 53 minutes after the start of the incident, a designated arrest team consisting of San Francisco Police Department specialist team members with the assistance of the San Francisco Police Department Tactical Unit took Mr. Corvera into custody. San Francisco Fire Department medical personnel assessed Mr. Corvera on scene and determined that he was not struck by gunfire. However, he was subsequently transported to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital for a minor complaint of pain. Mr. Corvera was discharged from Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital shortly thereafter and was later booked at County Jail Number 1 for the following crimes: 3 counts of assault on a peace officer with a firearm, which is Section 245 D2 of the California Penal Code. 2 counts of violently resisting arrest, which is Section 69A of the California Penal Code. Brandishing a firearm in the presence of a peace officer, which is Section 417C of the California Penal Code. Possession of a firearm with the intent to resist arrest, which is Section 417.8 of the California Penal Code. Resisting arrest, which is Section 148A1 of the California Penal Code. Carrying a loaded firearm in public, which is Section 25850A of the California Penal Code. Mr. Corvera remains in custody at this time. Additional information. The subject's name is Jose Corvera. His date of birth is January 12th, 1961. Evidence. Crime scene investigators from the San Francisco Police Department Forensic Services Division responded and processed physical evidence from the scene, including, but not limited to the following: 1 9mm blank front firing semi-automatic pistol, also known as an imitation blank firearm. The make and model of the imitation blank firearm is an Ecol Sava Magnum. 3 blank gun cartridge casings, 2 .40 caliber casings, 11 .223 caliber casings. Among the other items recovered at the scene were 2 bicycles, 1 cell phone, and Mr. Corvera's backpack containing various property. Video footage and photographs. Officers on scene were wearing department-issued body-worn cameras, which were activated at the time of the incident and recorded the events as they unfolded. Security cameras owned by a private party recorded footage of the incident that was later provided as evidence to the San Francisco Police Department and the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau. Multiple photographs taken by witnesses were also provided as evidence to the San Francisco Police Department and the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau. Any other relevant video footage or photographs can be provided to the San Francisco Police Department Investigative Services Detail and/or the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau using the following phone number: 415-575-4444. Once again, 415-575-4444. Witnesses. Several eyewitnesses of the incident were interviewed by the San Francisco Police Department's Investigative Services Detail and the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau. Any other witnesses are encouraged to contact the San Francisco Police Department tip line and the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau at 415-575-4444. Involved members. The San Francisco Police Department officers who discharged their weapons in this incident are Officer Michael Rachi, number 1514, a field training officer assigned to Mission Station. Officer Kane Shrakta, number 1183, an officer in the field training program assigned to Mission Station. Officer Jean Michelle M. Baracunda, number 375, assigned to Bayview Station. Officer Corey Fabel, number 1520, assigned to Bayview Station. The remainder of the presentation is provided in a multimedia format. In an effort to provide a transparent and comprehensive perspective of this incident, the San Francisco Police Department will provide maps, body-worn camera videos, surveillance video footage, a witness photograph, crime scene investigations photos, and related visual aids. Our presentation today consists of relevant known video and audio at this time, but is not intended to provide all photos, videos, or testimonial information related to this investigation. I will now provide a chronological presentation of this incident using these multimedia sources. The majority of the videos shown are in their unedited form. At selected points to increase the transparency for viewers, certain videos have been enhanced to allow for a better perspective of this incident. Please note that this presentation, the enhanced videos, and the unedited videos will be all available on the SFPD website immediately following this town hall event. Prior to the beginning of each segment of audio or video, I will provide a brief description to orient the viewer to the time, place, and location of the content about to be shown. You are about to see video footage and learn about other evidence related to this case so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based upon what we know right now. We are still in the very early stages of an administrative investigation, which can take months to complete. Our understanding of the incident may change as additional evidence is collected and reviewed. We do not draw any conclusion as to whether the officers acted consistent with our policies and the law until the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution. The images and information you are about to see and hear may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against attack, the images can be graphic and may be difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. We encourage those in need of help to contact the San Francisco Department of Public Health Behavioral Access Line at 415-255-3737. Once again, 415-255-3737. We will start this presentation with a geographical map of Shotwell Street and 18th Street, as well as enhanced graphics to display the general area of the officer-involved shooting. The map will show a Google satellite perspective. Please note, the graphics and map are approximations and not shown to scale. The dispatch audio from this incident will not be played during this presentation, but will be made available on the San Francisco Police Department website following this town hall event. The body-worn camera footage, which will be played next, captured much of the dispatch audio transmissions. At this time, we will show 5 body-worn camera videos that are related to the officer-involved shooting. I will introduce each video prior to playing it. All of these videos are from department-issued body-worn cameras. Portions of some videos have been blurred due to the display of confidential law enforcement database images. We are now going to play body-worn camera video footage from officer number 1. This video will be played in real time. The body-worn camera video footage will begin with officer number 1's initial contact with the subject and his actions leading up to and during the O.I.S. incident.
Code 33, foot pursuit. Sir, just stop there. Just stop there, buddy. 221.
Hey, 221, code 33.
221, code 33.
Drop the gun now. Put the gun down. Put that gun down now. On the floor. Drop that gun on the floor or you will be shot. Put it on the floor.
Hey, get back!
You in the gate, get back.
Drop the gun!
Drop it. Drop that gun on the floor. Put it down. Put the gun down. Put that gun down or you will be shot. You.
Northbound.
Down.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Shots fired, dude. Sit down. Shots fired.
Just get on the ground. Just get flat on the ground, buddy.
Drop the gun!
Just drop it. It's okay. Just drop the gun. Just get flat on the floor.
What's your 20? We're at 15 to stop in.
Just put it down, all right? It's okay. This is over. Just put that gun down.
Drop the gun!
Drop the gun on the floor. All right, nobody wants to get shot today. Just put it down.
Come northbound from 18th. He's still got the gun. Shots were fired. He's behind the car. He's still not cooperative.
Shots were fired. Come northbound from 18th. Suspect is behind the vehicle, not cooperative.
Just put it down, all right?
Safe Avenue.
Safe Avenue approach.
Try to get a Safe Avenue approach. David 297. Suspect already took a shot at us.
Suspect took a shot. And he was 60 out of advice on the Safe Avenue approach.
Somebody bring up a shield.
I need a unit with a shield.
Hey, unit.
Hey, Adam, is that you? Blue on blue, but maybe block that intersection down there.
All right, pal, just put that gun on the floor.
Be advised, blue on blue.
That's all. Just put the gun down.
Yeah, bring a couple of shields up, one to the left and one to the right. This is little red for the Corolla.
Why don't you guys cover the sidewalk over here?
Bring a shield on the left and the right.
Cover the sidewalk. Rob, cover Roger right here. Coming up on your right.
Gotcha.
Where's he at?
He's behind. He's basically at the right passenger side tire
Of this.
of this red car here. Yeah.
I'm on your right, okay?
Gotcha.
It's one guy.
Confirming.
He got a green beanie on it, you'll see.
Northbound 18.
Northbound, Shotwell from 18th.
No, he's outside of the car.
Continuing to give orders.
Passenger side. Passenger
Suspect
side.
is non-compliant.
You on the scooter, get back. Go back. You on the scooter.
Give orders. Suspect is not compliant.
Back, back, back.
Yeah, we're having heads from southbound Shotwell from 17th, so if we could prevent that from occurring.
Is he behind this bush?
No, he's just behind the red car.
17th is in the back of the block that area.
Is he inside or outside?
He's outside of the car.
Seated or standing?
He's crouched down. Last I saw him, he was crouched down at the right front passenger tire.
Okay.
Good, Kate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Born crew to come up here with your long gun on the passenger side.
If we end up moving back,
Yep.
try to get behind me.
Got it.
That way you're behind the shield. Same thing for you, Kane. All right.
Got it, sir.
Did any SFPD fire shots?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. None of our officers. We don't know about the suspect.
I fired one round.
Block that.
Yes. He's telling us to go. Yes.
Good job, Captain. Well, okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, I will.
David, 110.
210.
The unit to block off all vehicle and ped traffic on Shotwell at 17th and nothing southbound.
210 copy.
Worst case scenario, I have a tourniquet in my left
Or Ingleside,
pocket.
wherever you got.
Wheeler, I know where yours
210
is.
copy.
Mine's in my right thigh cargo pocket.
Gotcha.
Yeah, boy 12 will handle.
Copy, Boys 2 Avenue Block, Shotwell at 17th. Pedestrian and vehicle traffic.
I'm just focusing on the shield so you're my cover.
Copy.
You good?
Switching lanes.
David, 200.
200 copy.
Did a check, all out.
Yeah. This is gonna take them a minute.
Yep.
David, 200 headquarters.
David, 200, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to declare this a critical incident, and I'm going to set up my command post at, let me get you an address here. Let's say my command post is going to be at, and can you go out on an all for TAC?
David, 200 copy.
300.
David, 200 copy.
David, 110. Yeah, 1013 is, I don't believe we have any injuries on scene. Subject has a firearm in his hand that he's refusing to put down.
Okay.
Copy, no injuries. Suspect still has the firearm refusing to put down.
Is he still at the red car?
I don't see a person.
And he's
here.
putting the firearm in it.
Pointing the firearm at you, copy. David, 13 out for units. Just be advised to keep looking under the car, and we do have line of sight. David, 13 has line of sight.
I don't see anything under the car. If he's at the red one still.
Yeah, it's clear.
2014 Adam 97.
Time for tab 97.
David 11 Adam.
David 11 Adam, I can see under the car. From where we are, we cannot see anything under the car. The other scale and consider the vehicle doesn't see anything under the vehicle.
Be advised, he was riding one bicycle and had another in his hand. They're both straight to the right behind this thing.
If that unit
They might have something on the bikes, you know what I mean?
Behind like what thing?
This red, what do you call it? The little restaurant.
This, I got you.
Yeah, he left both bikes over there.
Looking under the car, I mean, he's grabbing his backpack straps. Suspect's grabbing his back pocket.
David 200. Has anybody requested a 408 to stage?
Negative, not yet.
10-4. Please have them stage at 18th and South Van Ness.
There you go. Go on the left.
Got it.
I know you're there.
Okay.
I'm not standing up.
Okay.
If you start shooting, I'm just gonna fucking hunker down.
All right.
Actually, you know what we could do?
What's up?
Can you shift a little more towards your left? What's this here?
Set it
You
up
can
on the
point,
window.
come through the window because you got this as ballistic panel. The door's got ballistic panel.
Yep.
David 110.
210, go ahead.
You can use HNC as well.
Come up, you're fine.
Well, I'm gonna
Copy,
try and
I've
stay
also
right here.
evacuated the route.
If need be, I'm gonna hold the shield here and I'll just duck down the door.
Yep. And I'll just fall straight back. If I'm not able to.
So that's the plan. You're gonna stay there if you need to. Duck
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm gonna try and duck just a little bit left if I need to. And then Bianca's gonna go behind us, so try not to move back if you don't have to.
I'll move left if I have to.
David 110 to that unit in 365. Can you get on your PA to take a shelter-in-place notification to everyone on this block?
Here, move up here, take this. Or is he gonna find us another shield?
David 110, we're going to need additional units to clear southbound on Shotwell from 18th, just in case we have crossfire.
I need additional units to clear southbound Shotwell 18th.
Where's he at right now? Can you see?
I have, once he ducked behind, I haven't seen line of sight
Duck
again.
Behind where? Like straight behind his car, right?
The last I saw him,
So like front passenger tire?
yes, that was where he was crouched.
Okay.
And I've had a line past it that was clear this whole time, so he hasn't run north.
Unit back to block Shotwell 18th. He's a crossfire.
We are now going to play body-worn camera video footage from officer number 2. This video will be played in real time. The body-worn camera video footage will begin with officer number 2's initial contact with the subject and his actions leading up to and during the O.I.S. incident.
He's running. He's running.
33 full pursuit.
David 16 on us, full pursuit.
Shit. Hey, 221, code 33. Hey, drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Put the gun down! Put that gun down now!
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Drop that gun on the floor or you will be shot! Put it on the floor!
Hey, get back! Get back!
Get back!
Drop the gun!
Drop it!
Drop the gun!
That gun on the floor!
Last 21
Put it
South
down!
16th, David
Put the
68,
gun
good
down!
direction to travel.
Put that gun down or you will be shot!
I'm northbound from 6. Shots fired! Shots fired!
Shots fired, David 16, shots fired.
Just get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
Get flat on the ground, buddy!
Drop the gun!
Just drop it! It's okay! Just drop the gun! Just get flat on the floor!
What's your 20? We're at 50 to Shotgun.
Just put
We're
it
at
down,
18th and
all right?
Shotwell.
It's okay, this is over.
18th and
Just
Shotwell.
put that gun down.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
On the floor. All right, nobody wants to get shot today. Just put it
Come
down.
northbound from 18th. He's still got the gun. Shots were fired. He's behind the car. He's still not cooperative.
Shots were fired on northbound from 18th. Suspect is behind the vehicle, not cooperative.
Just put it down, all right?
Safe Avenue. Try to get a Safe Avenue approach. David 297.
Suspect already took a shot at us.
Suspect took a shot.
He's behind the car, Sarge. Get down. He's already shot at us.
I'm advised on the Safe Avenue approach.
Somebody bring up a shield.
I need a unit with a shield.
Unit, hey, Adam, is that you? Blue on blue.
He's behind the car.
That intersection down there.
He's still got the gun. He already took a shot at us.
Put that gun
Red car.
Unit be advised, blue on blue.
That's all. Just put the gun down.
Yeah, bring a couple of shields up, one to the left and one to the right. This is little red Toyota Corolla.
No, he's behind the car. He's on the ground.
Hey, put the gun down.
Behind this red car.
Put it down. Hey, drop the gun, buddy.
You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
Where's your partner?
He's on the other side of the car.
We're trying to help you out here.
First, David 200, confirming Safe Avenue approach, northbound 18th.
What's your name, man?
Northbound Shotwell from 18th. We're continuing to give orders. The suspect is non-compliant.
You want to change position or anything?
No, I'm good.
Copy. Safe Avenue approach, northbound Shotwell from 18th. Continue to give orders. Suspect is not compliant.
Yeah, we're having Peds come southbound Shotwell from 17th.
I have no idea. No. We tried to stop him
Prevent that from occurring.
We tried to stop him. He took off running.
Units under copy. Pedestrians
Pulled out a
entering
gun.
southbound Shotwell 17th is unit back to block area.
How can I help you, man? How can I help you, buddy?
I'm gonna grab the rifle from my car. Okay.
How can I help you?
Move up to the car.
Come on, man. Get there.
You good, Kane?
Yes, sir.
Hey, board crew to sponsor with your long gun on the passenger side.
Come on, buddy. Nobody wants to hurt you, man. Huh? Hey, how can tell me how we can help you? What's going on today? Huh? Come on, Jose. Let me talk to you for a minute. Hey, sit down. Hey, Jose, come on. Let me talk to you real quick. What's going on today? Huh? What's going on?
Hey guys, be careful. He already took a shot at us.
How do you want us to help you? Hey, Jose, how can we help you today? How can we help you today, Jose? Hey, you put the gun down, we put ours down too, alright? Huh? Come on, buddy. Let me just talk to you for a second. Jose, can you put the gun down so we can talk? Huh? Come on, Jose, we don't want to hurt you. Jose,
David, what's that?
Do you want to talk?
we just want to get you some help.
The units are blocked off all vehicle and ped traffic on Shotwell at 17th and nothing southbound.
Jose,
She was in copy.
what's going on today?
Or Ingleside, whoever you got.
What?
She was in copy.
Yeah, boy 2 Admiral Handle.
Copy, Boyd 2 Avenue block, Shotwell and 17th. Pedestrian and vehicle traffic.
Jose,
Put it down. Throw the gun in the middle of the street. Jose. Good, Mike?
Yeah.
Take it out of my ear.
Are you injured?
I'm not in. I don't think. I'm not injured.
She's in copy.
Rockdale okay as far as you know?
Yeah.
Is this guy communicating with us?
A little bit.
He's have a visual on a gun? Okay, put it down. Come on, put it down, buddy. You don't want to do this.
Hey, which car is it?
Red car.
The red car.
David 200.
Good
Come
gentlemen.
on, Jose, we can help you out. Jose, you can't go. We need to try to help you out.
David 200 headquarters.
What we can do to help you.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to declare this a critical incident, and I'm going to set up my command post at, let me get you an address here.
Jose, how can we help you today? What can we do to help you?
Let's say my command post is, and can you go out on an offer tack?
David, copy.
300.
He's on the in front of the right passenger side. He's like leaned down in front of the car right now with the 221.
David 110, yeah, 1013 is, I don't
No,
believe
he's not in the car.
injuries on scene. Subject has a firearm in his hand that he's refusing to put down.
Copy, no injuries. Suspect still has the firearm refusing to put down.
And he's putting the firearm in it.
Pointing the firearm at you. Copy. David 13 out for units. Just be advised that you're just looking under the car and you have line of sight. David 13 has line of sight.
2014 Adam 97.
Time for tab 97. David 11 Adam, I can see under the car. From where we are, we cannot see anything under the car. You have to scale and have to consider the vehicle doesn't see anything under the vehicle.
It's that unit approaching us. Walk that right there up down Bentley.
What's going on with you guys, Jose? Huh? Is there anyone we can call for you? Hey, is there anyone we can call for you? No? Okay, tell me what we can do to help you.
Can't go anywhere, Jose.
What's that? Jose, you got the gun, man. You got to put that down so we can talk. Huh?
He took a shot at us.
Looking out of the car, I mean, he's grabbing his backpack straps.
Hey, Jose, keep talking.
Suspect's grabbing his back pocket.
Well, I need to talk to you. You can't leave until we settle this. Jose,
David 200, has anybody requested a 408 to stage?
Jose, come on.
Negative, not yet.
10-4, please have them stage at 18th and South Van Ness.
He's off in his copy, report him.
Jose, come on, let's keep talking, buddy. Tell me what I can do to help you.
Nobody's injured so far.
Jose. Come on, now I want to get you some help. Jose? Hey. Jose, keep talking to me, buddy.
David 110.
Hey, one time, go ahead.
Huh?
You could use HNC as
Jose,
well.
I can't hear you, bud. What's going
Copy, I
on?
have multiple spectators that are out.
Huh? Jose? Hey, talk to me, bud. Jose? What's going on? Huh? Can you talk to me? Jose? I can't see you, man. Where you at?
Everyone sent to that unit in 365. Can you get on your PA? Just make a shelter-in-place notification to everyone on this block.
Hey, Jose, come on, man. Let's talk to you.
Simple.
Hey, keep talking to me, bud. Hey, Jose, come on, man. We're here to help you, bud. Whatever you want, man. What you need.
Everyone, so we're going to need additional units to clear southbound on Shotwell from 18, just in case we have crossfire.
I need additional units to clear southbound Shotwell 18.
I can't hear you, bud. What's that? Come on, man. I can't. You need to put the gun down so we can talk.
Hey, Fresh, have the guy that's negotiating.
Unit back to block Shotwell 18. He's a crossfire.
He's back in front. He's in front of the car. Yeah, he just pointed at us.
How can we help you, man?
Who shot?
Huh?
Was that us?
Was that us or the suspect?
Hey, Jose! Jose! Come on, buddy.
Charlie 113.
How can I help you, man?
Charlie 113, guys.
Go, let's take care of this. Jose!
Yeah, we have O.I.S.
Huh? Jose!
I 113, copy OIS.
Is he up or down?
Jose! Talk to me, buddy.
Yeah, we have an O.I.S. Shots fired. It says the suspect is still
Hey,
moving.
Jose! You talk to me?
Suspect still moving, copy upgrade medic.
Huh? What's going on? Come on up here in the car. Jose!
Head in the Honda.
I can't. I'm here to help you, bud. I can't. You know I can't do that. Come on, Gary. Just put the... Hey, throw the gun in the street, man. Come on. So we can talk.
Hey, Frank, give me a rifle. Give me a rifle over here.
Jose.
Come on, the rifle.
Yep, we got a rifle.
We don't want to hurt you, bud.
Place there. Barracuda, come out. Come on out. Come on out.
Come on, we don't want to hurt you, bud.
Barracuda, come on out. Place him.
Jose!
Get up there. Just got shots fired.
We are now going to play body-worn camera video footage from officer number 3. This video will be played in real time. The body-worn camera video footage will begin with officer number 3's actions leading up to and during the O.I.S. incident.
Like he's trying to.
Huh? Is there someone we can call for you? Hey, is there anyone we can call for you? No. No? Okay, tell me what we can do.
We can't go anywhere, Jose.
What's that?
Hey guys, if he comes up with the gun, we'll just back off to the right behind the car here, okay?
Hey, you got the gun, man. You got to put that down so we can talk. Huh?
It's a black handgun.
I think Rocky shot, right?
Hey, Jose. Jose. Hey, Jose, keep talking to me, buddy. Come on. Well, I need to talk to you. You can't leave until we settle this. Jose.
Hey St. Clair,
Jose, come
is
on.
there a way to bring up a car onto the sidewalk here? From the back side? Let's bring a car up here. Let's bring an armored car up here.
Jose.
On the sidewalk.
You can talk to me, man? Jose. Come on, man. Let's keep talking, buddy. Tell me what I can do to help you.
His left hand is on the ground. He's on his knees. I'm not sure if he's peeking underneath the car or not.
Come on, man. I want to get you some help. Jose? Hey. Jose, keep talking to me, buddy.
We're bringing an armored car up here, guys, all right?
Huh?
Okay.
Jose, I can't hear you, bud. What's going on? Huh? Jose? Hey, talk to me, bud. Jose. What's going on? Huh? Can you talk to me? Jose. I can't see you now. Where you at?
I can't see him in front of the, yeah, he might be slowly shifting to the right.
Jose.
Oh, no, I see his hand. He has his left hand on the ground in front still.
Hey, Jose, come on, man. Let me talk to you.
Okay, I'm backing up.
Jose.
Bring it up.
Keep talking to me.
Hey, bring it up farther. Give yourself enough room. Angle it in. Drive up forward. Yep. Keep coming. Stop there. Get out. Hey, St. Clair, get out. I'm gonna use your car. Back up. I'm gonna get my rifle. They're talking to him. Hey guys, just, yeah, second. I'm going for it. Yep. Watching it. Shit. He's got the gun pointed. He's got pointed direction. I shot. Shots fired. That was us. Guns pointed. I fired. He is down, but he's still crawling around.
See a gun?
I saw a gun. It was pointing at my direction multiple times.
All right. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Hey, Frank, give me a rifle. Jose. Come on, Jose, we don't want to hurt you, bud. Place in. Barracuda, you're out. Come on out.
I still got a good sight on him, sir. We don't want multiple shooters, sir. I fired.
Get up there. You replace him. You just
Yes,
got
sir.
shots fired.
Yes, sir.
We are now going to play body-worn camera video footage from officer number 4. This video will be played in real time. The body-worn camera video footage will begin with officer number 4's actions leading up to and during the O.I.S. incident.
Barracuda, come on out. Replace him.
We don't want multiple shooters, sir. I fired.
Do not. Get up there. You replace him. You just got shots fired.
Hey, did you hit him? Do you know?
You gotta get you some help.
He's standing up again.
Jose, come on.
Hey, he's pointing the gun again.
We need to help you. Jose. Hey, where's he at? Hey, Jose.
It looks like he's going. Oh, yeah, I can't see him anymore.
How can I help you, man? Jose.
Keep talking to Jose. We want to help you.
John 16, we're at 17th and Shotwell, and we got a clear view of him. He's crawling over, and he's got something in his right hand.
John 60, copy. Suspect is crawling over and something in his right hand.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Put your hands up, all right? And then we can talk.
Which way is he crawling?
He's crawling towards the center of the street. He's peeking up over the trunk of the silver car. He's manipulating an object in his right hand.
Hey, Jose, come on, buddy. I need to talk to you.
John 60, suspect is crawling towards the center of the street.
Jose.
Over. Assuming something his right hand.
Tell me what you need. Jose. Hey, Jose. Come on, man. I can help you out.
Or you have a good visual in case he pops up and starts fucking shooting?
Yeah.
You got a good platform, or do you want to? You're good.
John 60, he's sitting on his butt at the
I just don't want to shoot through the windshield.
Why? It's already fucked.
And his hands are out of sight now.
I don't know where the round's going to go through the windshield.
Hands out of sight, suspect is sitting on his hands on his butt.
Tell me what you need. What's up? Jose, I can't hear you, bud. Hey, what do you need, man?
Fuck.
Jose. Jose. Hey, man, put your gun away, dude. Hey, Jose. I need to talk to you so I can help you. What do you need, man? Yeah, you can make it easy by coming out and talking to me. Jose. Hey, nobody wants to hurt you, dude.
John 60, he's on his knees and he's looking over the passenger side of the car. He's still got something in his hand.
Jose.
John 60 copy. Suspect on his knees looking over the passenger side, something in his hand.
Hey, Jose. Hey. You still there? No, nobody's gonna hurt you, man. Hey, Jose, no one's here to hurt you. We're here to help
John
you, man.
60, if anybody has binos, bring them to the 17th Street side.
Jose.
Respect 105, I have binos.
What's that?
Copy, come up either direction, 17th Street side. This is the only view of him. And he's crawling toward the middle of the street again.
Copy.
Doctor and I are 97 at 18 Shotwell, and we're in a decent position right now.
For John 60, suspect is crawling in the middle of the street. Come up either direction on the 17th Street side.
Hey, Jose. Tell me what we can do to help you. Well, that's what we're here for.
Jose! Just crawl out and lay down on your stomach. And we'll take
He's right there. You can see the top of his head.
Taking care of it, talk about
Just real quick, because he keeps pointing the, or like raising the gun, so if I need to.
Oh, yeah. It's bystander.
I don't see any blood or anything.
Hey, Jose. You got to throw the gun
John
out.
60 is raising his right hand.
So we can help you.
John 60 copy, raising right hand. 18T 108 18T 108 copy.
Jose. Come out from the car so we can help you out. What's that? Yeah, nobody wants to hurt you now. Hey, Jose, come on. We'll get you whatever help you need, man. Jose.
John 60, he's picking up a blue bag and he's crawling to the sidewalk.
It's a blue bag crawling to the sidewalk. Copy, John 60.
I just saw him peek his head over. Yeah. He's kind of doing it over the...
Fort Tom 202, David 200.
Hey, Jose, man, are you hurt? Jose. Let's come on out so we can help you, man. Jose. Jose. Would you come out, put the gun down, and we can help you out. Well, you gotta come out. You let me know what you need. I can't help you when you're over there. With that? Jose.
I can see the top of his head. He's still right behind the hood, right in front of the hood.
Jose. Come on, man. You know we can't leave until you come out and we can help you. With that? Hey, Jose, come on, man. Come on, let us help you, Jose. Hey, you gotta come out so I can hear you. Hey, Jose. Put the gun down, come out so we can talk. Jose, can you come out from behind the car? Jose, put the gun down, come out, and let me know what you need. Jose. Hey, Jose. Hey, you got anyone we can call for you?
Fort Tom 202, dispatch.
Fort Tom 202, go.
Is that?
What's the location of this incident? Command post?
Command post is at 30.
Huh? Hey, Jose.
Copy, you can show myself responding and tactical.
Jose.
Tom 202, copy.
Hey, Jose. Put the gun away. Come on out.
Tom 202, who's running it?
David 200.
Jose. Hey, buddy, keep talking to me. What's that?
214 Adams, he's speaking to the left of the vehicle.
Copy, suspect speaking to the left on G3. Speaking to the left of the vehicle, copy.
I can't leave until I get some help, Jose. You got to put the gun out. You got to put the gun away, alright? You know, nobody wants to get hurt, Jose.
108, 183.
Jose.
108. Do we have a police for this vehicle?
44 boy, be advised, there might be two people. There's someone to the right of them.
Put the gun away.
First Charlie 44 was left at P38. Two suspects, someone to the right of the suspect.
There's two people there?
No subject, black with a gray backpack. He's next to the suspect or possible suspect, but they're right next to each other.
Charlie 44 copy. Black over black with a backpack right next to each other.
Jose. Hey, can you put the gun up their way and come out so we can talk? You gotta come out so I can help you. What's that? Jose, are you there by yourself? Jose? What's that? Hey, Jose? Jose? You have someone with you? What's that? Let me just come out the way and we can help you. You know we can't leave until we get you some help. Hey, Jose, come on, man. We can get you the help you need. Jose. Hey, Jose, put the gun down, come out with your hands up, man, so we can help you. Huh? That's the only way we can help you, Jose. Hey, Jose, come on, man. Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to hurt you, all right? I can't do that. You know that. I don't understand what you're saying. You got to come out. Put the gun down and talk to me. Huh? I can't.
Suspect 101, what's the safe avenue approach?
We're here to help you, Jose.
Suspect 101 is northbound Shotwell.
You got to put the gun away and come
David
out.
Schroeder, do you have a better safe avenue approach?
He's on the other side. You see his green hat right there? Okay. Yeah.
What's that?
Northbound Shotwell from 18.
Come on, buddy.
Schroeder, copy. Again, safe avenue approach is northbound Shotwell from 18.
Hey, Jose, come on. Put the gun down, come out with your hands up. Jose.
I can see the top of his head. Yeah. It's like a green beanie or something. The top of it, yeah, green beanie. He's still in the same spot.
Jose.
Just confirming, are there two suspects involved?
I can't see him anymore.
Jose, come on out,
So,
I can't.
know the other person's related, but they're...
I can't see him anymore.
People sitting right there by the car. One's going to be...
There's for sure another person over
blue
there?
t-shirt, and the other one has a gray backpack. One has shorts, the other one doesn't. And they're sitting right next to each other.
So Charlie 44, which suspect has shorts, the blue t-shirt or the gray backpack?
Is he fucking on this call?
It's like a green shirt,
Charlie
or
44
jacket,
boy.
blue shirt,
Oh shit!
shorts.
He just pointed the gun at us. Hey, he's pointing the gun. I can't see him though. I can just see the gun.
Is all black, and he has a grayish backpack.
Charlie 44, copy. So the first suspect is a live male, green shirt or jacket and shorts. Second possible involved suspect has next to him is wearing all black with gray background.
From that's where we see they're right next to a Honda vehicle.
Next to a Honda, copy.
What are they putting out?
HT 108, copy.
Hey, Jose.
Hey, what color's the Honda that you're seeing? Silver Honda.
Dude, he's talking about a different fucking car.
Like it's a hatchback.
Hey, stand by. That's for Honda.
For Honda, those are civilians that are just taking cover. We're just focusing on the orange burgundy looking Toyota.
What's that?
So confirming the vehicles involved in orange or burgundy Toyota. Silver hatchback.
Jose. Put the gun down. Come up with your hands up so you can talk.
That is correct. That is correct, dispatch. That's silver Honda. That's mid-block. Those are civilians just taking cover.
Jose.
Units be advised, again, the silver Honda mid-block. There are civilians taking cover. Vehicle involved in orange or burgundy Toyota.
Hey, Jose. You there?
Fort Tom 1 Edward. What's the safe avenue of approach?
Tom 1 Edward, take avenue first north on Shotwell 15.
Hey, come on, Jose. Come on up, bud. Put the gun away. Come up with your hands up.
Yeah, 200. I would have everybody stay off of Shotwell. The best avenue approach is going to be eastbound 18th from South Van Ness or westbound 18th from Folsom. Do not have anybody come on Shotwell.
He just looked right up at me.
Number copies, thank you.
Nobody wants to get hurt out here, alright? Hey, we want to make sure that you get the help that you need.
200. I spoke with the X-Ray 300 and he's 98 as well, and we have HNT 97. And it looks like POA just came 97 as well.
Copy. Proceeding over 3 and 4. New Dave Avenue approach for David 200 eastbound 18th from South Van Ness or westbound 18th from Folsom. Units stay off 18th at Shotwell.
Jose. Come on out, bud. Put the gun away and come out, alright? So that way we can get you some help. Whatever you need, man. Jose. Jose. You there? What's that?
HNT 23.
Hey, we're here to help you, man.
Yeah, can you advise the offender to not stay in Shotwell?
See that 18th in Falcon?
Jose.
HNT 23 just confirming stage at 18th. Close across.
Jose, come on out, brother. Yeah, put the gun down. Come on out.
David 200, I told them to stage at 18th and South Van. They could either choose South Van Ness or Folsom.
Jose.
South Van Ness, Folsom, copy you, Jenner.
Well, we can give you the help that you want. Jose. Hey, Jose, tell me what you need, man. Jose. Jose. Hey, keep talking to me, man. What do you need, Jose?
You see him pop up?
What do you need, Jose?
I can consistently see his head. The top of his head.
Jose, what do you need?
All in the front passenger?
Front of the car.
Gun down.
I
come
can-
on out,
Right by the wheel.
and we can help.
Sarge, can you see the gun?
What do you want, man?
No, I can see it's like right foot.
Tippers,
Oh, okay.
David 200.
Jose, whatever you need, man, you gotta come out. You just gotta put the gun away, man. Nobody wants to hurt you. Jose, nobody wants to hurt you. Come on out, man. Put the gun down. What's that?
Headquarters says reach on 60.
Good.
Hey,
Do you have an
Jose, I
updated
can't
description
hear
of
you
the
behind
suspect?
car, dude.
Negative.
Why don't you put the gun down?
We have eyes on is actually civilian sheltering.
Copy. So is there a unit that has eyes on the suspect that can provide a description?
All I can see is either a green hoodie or a green beanie. That's it.
All you can see underneath the car is going to be like army green pants and black shoes.
Copy. Are we going to get the black suit?
Put the gun down, come on out and talk to us.
Beanie and like a gray backpack.
Green beanie, gray backpack. Copy.
Hey guys, listen, you guys got good cover back here. I'm going to pull, don't turn around Frank, just listen. I'm going to pull the CIT guy back to you guys because he's better cover and eliminate the guys in front of you, okay? So,
Is there any other lethal cover over there? Or?
yeah, we got lethal cover to the right-hand side looking northbound, and then we've got officers on the east side of the street.
See if I can in his pocket with his left hand, pull something out.
Reach in his pocket with the left hand, pull something out.
Is that you?
I'm on your right, I'm on your right. No, somebody
We're not here to hurt you.
Those are guys in the corner looking straight down the
We
sidewalk.
want to help you out, dude.
Maybe you guys, it's just him in the green beanie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. There's a little confusion right now as far as if it's one or two guys. Yeah, that was, I think that was something else.
The second one's behind a silver Honda mid-block.
Alright.
It's an Asian lady.
But that's a civilian so far that we know of?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the gun right there. That's the gun right there. Alright, I see. Are you guys comfortable where you're at? You want to switch out?
Come on out, man. So we can talk to you.
Hey, I'm going to bring Claudio over to you guys, so just make sure he's...
All I can see is the gun.
Okay, that's fine. Just give him, Claudio will kind of be right here, and then he'll
He's
be
got something in his left hand.
Yep.
Something in his left hand.
Jose. Okay, go ahead and bring Claudio back. Keep talking to me, buddy.
So hey Claudio, here's a really nice piece of cover for you right here. You have the armored vehicle, so this will be your guy. He'll be your cover guy. So talk to him right here, okay?
Hey, Jose. Come on out, bud. We got to put the gun down so we can help you.
Could you slide up a little bit and give Claudio just, is it safe or not safe? Just tell me. If it's not safe, don't do it. If it's not safe, don't do it.
Fine.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
If you need to come back, just come back. We're just repositioning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just come back.
It just feels
Claudio,
uncomfortable.
just get tight on him, and then just talk over him. Stick that way.
Jose. Hey, put the gun down, bud, so we can talk to you. I need to know what you want so we can help.
No, you're good.
Jose.
He's leaning under the car.
Hey, put the gun down, buddy. No one wants to hurt you, all right? We can't leave until we get you some help. Jose, come on, man. Put the gun down, buddy.
Guns up.
Nobody wants to hurt you. Put it out.
Stand by.
Stand by. He's got the gun up
Jose, come on, buddy.
in front of the grill of the front of the car.
Put the gun down so we can help you. Just put the gun down and crawl in the middle of the street, bud. Come on. Nobody wants to hurt you. We're not here to hurt you, bud.
Hey, he's pointing it, so Corey, watch that dude. He's
Yeah.
in front of that fucking hood. He's gonna take a pop shot.
Hey, Jose, come on, man. Nobody wants to get hurt. All right? And we're not here to hurt you. Jose. Jose. Come on out, bud. Put the gun down. Jose, come on. We're trying to help you out. We're trying to make this easy for you, okay? What is it that you want?
Sarge, can you see him?
Just this way. He's squatted in front, but he's coming up over the hood with a gun.
Jose,
He won't expose himself.
you listening to me? Put the gun down. Come on out with your hands up, and we could get you the help. Jose. Hey, talk to me, buddy.
He's still pointing the gun.
Jose!
He's shot over here. He's still up.
He's still up.
Shooting.
Jose, put it down, buddy.
Oh, fuck, he shot.
Jose!
I got no shot, man.
I can't see anything besides the gun. He's pointing the gun over.
Jose, come on out, man.
Motherfucker.
Shut over here. I can't fucking hear shit.
Jose! Put the gun down!
He threw it, he threw it. Fucking gun just went off.
Put the gun down, Jose!
Shut your fucking hands!
Come on out! Jose! Come on out from the car! Put your hands up! Put the hands up, Jose!
Coming up on your 6.
Come on, Jose!
Coming up on your 6.
Jose! Put your hands up!
He threw the gun. Gun's right there.
I got you.
Fucking went off when he threw it.
Jose!
Yeah.
Jose!
Got you.
Come on out with your hands. Let me see your hands, buddy.
I'm gonna pull you out, alright?
Yeah.
Pull you out. Go
Yep.
to the sergeant.
Let me see your hands, Jose.
Yeah, 10-4, just
We are now going to play the body-worn camera video footage from officer number 5, who was a member of the arrest team. This video will be played in real time. The video footage will show the subject's arrest and members of the San Francisco Fire Department conducting a medical assessment of him. The arrests occurred 53 minutes after the start of the incident. This officer's entire body-worn camera footage will be available on the SFPD website after this presentation.
I got my gun down. You go.
Right now. Ready? Go, go.
I got cuffs. I got him.
Hey, espérate, hijo de puta, hey, no mate.
All right.
Hey. Ay, hijo de puta, no, hombre. Hey, my phone. Get my phone.
Suspect in custody.
Get my phone.
Roll medics up here.
Get my phone. For nothing, you tell me. No, you don't do nothing wrong. Hijo de puta, ve que este es el hombre, mira. Este es el hombre, mira. No es para...
Mira, ¿cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Ay, ya me golpearon aquí.
¿Cómo te llamas?
José Coveraje, comprensible.
José, ¿tienes dolor?
Ya.
Ok, ahorita te voy a quitar todo el dolor porque necesito que saber que no estás golpeado. Dolor, ¿verdad?
Aquí ya.
¿A dónde? En la... ¿En el brazo? ¿Va? Yeah, let's go ahead and start cutting everything off. Yeah. Hey, mira, ¿cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes?
Yo tengo 51 años.
¿Sentís dolor ahorita de ninguno? Mira, decime lo que pasó hoy.
No tengo nada.
Doctor, you're good? Shoot. No.
Yo sé, vos lo que han venido.
We are now going to play additional video surveillance footage of the incident. This video footage has been provided by an independent party. The videos were from 4 exterior video surveillance cameras from a building located near Shotwell Street and 18th Street. These video cameras provided different angles of the incident from multiple vantage points. We have combined and edited the surveillance video recordings into one video to provide a sequential summary of the incident. Portions of the video have been enhanced to provide viewers with a better perspective of the incident. These enhancements include zooming in and out, slow motion, highlighting, added graphics such as an arrow, and the circling of items, including the subject and his weapon. The overlaying of a photograph of the weapon recovered from the scene. This footage has also been condensed for presentation purposes. All of the surveillance camera footage will be available in its entirety, along with the enhanced version on the SFPD website following this presentation. Please note, this surveillance system did not capture any audio. Witness photograph. We will now display one photograph taken and provided by a witness. This photo shows the subject during the incident. Crime scene investigations photographs. We will now display 8 photographs taken by the Crime Scene Investigations Unit during and after scene processing. Photo number 1 shows a blue bicycle at the scene. Photo number 2 shows a red bicycle at the scene. Photo number 3 shows a firearm with a CSI marker at the scene. Photo number 4 shows a close-up of the firearm at the scene. Photo number 5 shows a blank cartridge at the scene. Photo number 6 shows the subject's property at the scene. Photo number 7 shows a department-issued handgun from the scene. Photo number 8 shows a department-issued patrol rifle from the scene. This concludes my presentation. I will now introduce Acting Captain Peter Shields from Mission Police Station. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. My name is Lieutenant Peter Shields, and I am currently Acting Captain at Mission Station for Captain Gavin McEachern. Officers assigned to Mission Station regularly respond to calls for service at the area of 18th and Shotwell Streets. Since the incident, we have increased patrol and continue to work with our city partner agencies in and around the area. I have had many conversations with members of the community and will continue the open dialogue with residents and business owners in the neighborhood. We will be mentioning this incident at our next community meeting, which will be held virtually August 30th, Tuesday at 5 p.m. I encourage those interested to register via the SFPD website. Thank you, and now I welcome back Chief Scott.
Thank you, Commander Yep and Acting Captain Shields. And now we will open up the town hall for questions and comments.
Public comment portion of this town hall will now begin. Public comment will be held until 6:15 p.m. or when there are no more callers in the queue, whichever comes first. To call into the meeting, please call 1-415-655-0001. Again, the number to call into the meeting is 1-415-655-0001. Please enter meeting code 2485-429-8818. Next, enter password 8378. Each public comment caller will have up to 2 minutes to speak. If you wish to join the queue for public comment, please listen carefully to the following instructions. Interpretation is available in both Spanish and Cantonese. If you are watching on WebEx, you may click the interpretation button and select your preferred language. If you are calling into the meeting, again, please call 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2485-429-8818. Next, enter password 8378. You may press *3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment. You will be prompted when you have been unmuted and it is your turn to speak. Once again, each caller will have up to 2 minutes to provide public comment for this town hall meeting. Your 2 minutes will begin once you have been prompted that you have been unmuted and you begin speaking. Please be reminded, you must mute your broadcast that you are watching in order for your public comment to be heard clearly. Again, if you are watching the broadcast online, please mute the broadcast or turn down the volume completely to prevent audio feedback so that your comment can be heard clearly. Moderators, at this time, I ask that you invite the first caller in to speak.
Hi there. Thank you for your efforts to keep our neighborhood safe. I am curious what the rules of engagement are in front of a school. I noticed in the video the officers, it looked from my eyes that the officers pulled over the suspect right on the corner where a large school, K8 school resides. And I'm curious about the rules of engagement, the protocols, and you know, were there lockdown calls? Did somebody knock? Did somebody contact the school? What would happen if this was not a Saturday morning, but a Monday through Friday when children were present?
Yes, thank you for your question, caller. Our use of force is policies are guided by our Department General Order 5.01, and if it's online, if you or any other members of the audience would like to take a look at it, but it actually lays out and sets forth the policy on what officers have to consider when they use force, including the use of deadly force, as in this case. And that does include background, that does include the environment, and it's laid out in the policy. So whether it's a school or any other location where there's pedestrians or people in the background, officers have to take that in consideration. And it's laid out in the policy, and then that is all evaluated as a part of the policy evaluation before this case comes to a final conclusion. That will be evaluated both by the police department and by the Department of Police Accountability when those cases that qualify for their review are evaluated by them as well. So thank you for your question.
Hello, I am an administrator at the La Escuela International School, which is the building that this incident took place next to. Our immediate concern is we were not notified of an active shooter situation, and we're wondering what the rules of engagement or any sort of alerting to the school in cases such as these. I mean, school was not in session that day, but I mean, there was live rounds being fired next to a schoolyard, and we want to make sure that we're notified so that we can lock down the schoolyard and get kids inside to where it would be safe.
Yeah, thank you, caller, for your comments, and thank you for those comments. You're absolutely right, and definitely in an ideal situation, we do work with, particularly in a school situation, work with the school administrators to help them to make a decision, or they make the decision, but we at least give them information of what's going on so they can make a decision of whether or not that school needs to be locked down. And in most cases, that is a part of what we do if school is open. So very good question and comment, and it is something that we are very intentional about. We try to mitigate those types of concerns, and we have to act swiftly in a situation where somebody is armed and shots appear to be fired. But that also, when time allows and when we have the ability to notify and make notifications, whether it be a school or any other occupied location, we do attempt to do that.
At this time, there are no callers in the queue. A reminder, please press star 3 in order to raise your hand to speak for public comment after you have called in.
I'm curious if there is a link between this bicycle theft and the bicycle storage that we often see on Shotwell on the block between 18th and 19th Street, and if there is going, I know the encampment was recently relocated, at least the portion closest to 18th Street. Will that be relocated? I know there are still quite a few bikes and storage and tents closer to 19th Street, and what steps are you taking to keep the bike thievery and encampment away from the school campus?
Well, that theft investigation of that bicycle is a part of the investigation. As was mentioned by Commander Yep, that was one of the things that drew the attention of at least one of the officers. We don't know whether there's a link to the location that you mentioned, but that is being looked into. And that will be a part of the discussion in the mission station, the next community meeting that Acting Captain Shields discussed just a minute ago. There are many community complaints about bicycle theft in that area, in your area, or that area in particular, and it's definitely something that we have stepped up our deployment on in that particular area because it's of great community concern.
At this time, there are no callers in the queue. Again, to call into the meeting for public comment, please call 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2485-429-8818 and password 8378. You may press star 3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment.
Hi, I have a question about the incident that happened the next morning with the fire that was started. Was that individual apprehended later and or charges being filed? Thank you.
The incident the next morning was unrelated, and I'm not sure if that individual is still in custody, but if you want to call the mission station, we can give you more information on that particular incident. I believe you're talking about the arson that occurred where an individual was badly burned and taken to the hospital. And I'll try to get an answer before this session is over of whether that person is in custody or not.
Caller, you have been unmuted and you may begin speaking. Your 2 minutes will begin once you start talking.
Hi, this is a concerned neighbor, and first I'd like to really commend the responding police officers and their patience and their actions to make our neighborhood as safe as possible given all the encampments up and down Shotwell and around the mission. I watched I patiently watched this video, and it was quite incredible, the bravery and patience and professionalism. So thank you, Mission and San Francisco Police. My question is around why the police were following this this individual. Was there a call or something for them to follow this individual? I noticed in the video that he was riding one bicycle with another bike next to him, and my first thought, that was a stolen bike. You see that often in the Mission. You see people riding bikes, and then they have their on another bike. There's also a number of chop shops, not only on Shotwell, but also there's a huge chop shop now behind John O'Connell High School that you all want to check out. So I guess the question is, what led to this pursuit, and what are the laws around chop shops in the Mission? What tools do the police have to sort of stop and break down and eliminate this criminal activity in the Mission?
Thank you, caller, for your question. And I'll just repeat what Commander Yep, it's a part of his comments. So what brought the attention to this particular person was at least one of the officers had been made aware of a crime alert regarding a red stolen bike. And the individual, Mr. Caldera, actually was pulling or carrying or pulling a red bike. And that's what drew their attention, and that's what the officers tried to investigate, of whether that was in fact one and the same bike that had been mentioned on that crime alert. In terms of your second question about this issue, we do have a number of bikes stolen in the city and a number of bikes stolen from that particular area. And a couple of things that we are really encouraging people to register your bikes, and you can do that through the San Francisco Safe, which is a crime prevention entity, that nonprofit that we work with. Oftentimes when we come across bicycles that have been disassembled in what we call chop shops, where the parts have been taken off and wheels and other parts have been taken off, we cannot determine whether or not they've been stolen because many of them have not been reported stolen. And we know the problem is probably bigger than what's reported because we see these bicycles quite often. But in this particular instance, there was a crime alert because the person who the red bike was stolen from actually reported it. So we had a crime alert for that specific incident. And that's what at least one officer had been made aware of, and that's what was being investigated.
At this time, there are no callers in the queue. Again, to call into the meeting for public comment, please call 1-415-655-0001. Again, the number to call into the meeting is 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2485-429-8818 and password 8378. You must press *3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment. Caller, you have been unmuted and you may begin speaking.
Hi, I'm calling to inquire about future additional patrols in the Shotwell area. As a prior caller mentioned, there is a school across the street where this incident happened. In addition, it's a residential neighborhood. There's a restaurant there, a couple of restaurants. People live here. And we're very concerned about, the encampments were very concerned about people participating in criminal activities, stealing bikes with chop shops, taking them to chop stops, and those individuals stealing bikes having weapons on them and shooting at the police in our neighborhood. So I'd like to just request more specific information about the San Francisco Police and the Mission Police commitments to the neighborhood to keep our residents safe.
Thank you, caller. And there are some significant challenges on Shotwell in that general vicinity. We have recently, even prior to this incident, upped our deployment by use of overtime, upped our deployment in the area. We will continue to do that. We still need to do more, and we will do that as we're able to, but definitely we have upped our employment just in the last couple of weeks, and prior to the incident, actually. But we still need to do more. There's a lot of challenges there. You go a couple of blocks away, and we have challenges also at 24th and Mission between 17th and 18th. So there's a lot of issues to unfold there and unpack. But we're part of a bigger solution with other city entities, and definitely we're going to work in partnership with those other city entities. Many of the callers have mentioned a lot of the behaviors that are happening on the streets, the street condition, and we believe much of that is fueled by either substance abuse or mental illness, and we have to work with our collaborative partners to help address that issue as well. So we're going to do our part. We will keep working. We know we have to do more, and we're going to attempt to do more, and we'll keep working at it. But there's definitely some challenges there. So thank you for your question, and we have upped that deployment. And when able, we will up it even more, because I don't believe what we have right now is enough to really, at least from the policing standpoint, to adequately address the issues. But we'll keep trying, and really we're doing this with overtime, and thankfully we've been given the overtime to do this, but we'll continue to use our overtime smartly and try to up the deployment to address some of these issues that relate to policing.
Hi, I'm a resident who lived for 20-some years, basically right next to this incident. And I want to commend the San Francisco Police Department for incredible patience with this guy shooting at them. And it's amazing that he wasn't actually shot. You know, just incredible. So it was really a refreshing change, better than refreshing. As you know, on the 400 block a few years ago, there was another incident where the guy didn't have a gun, he had a little knife, and he was shot dead more or less immediately. I would like to say that I know that it's, you know, that bike was on its way to being disassembled, and then you can't do anything. I was just wondering, not only was the red bike reported, but he was riding a stolen share bike, which you can't buy those bikes. And I'm just curious why the police, you need a complaint? Because you know, the next day there was a stolen share bike at the tent at 18th and Shotwell. And I just walked by up the street where there's still an encampment, where there's still a big pile of bike parts, and there's a guy smoking crack. And I'm just wondering, is there no way that any kind of basic laws can be enforced?
Yeah,
Thank you so much. And really, kudos for not killing anybody. It's great.
Thank you, caller. And that's a really good question in terms of, it's difficult because some of the bikes that we come across, even though we believe they're stolen, like in this case, neither one of those bikes were reported stolen. So it's really difficult for us to confiscate property when we don't have the probable cause to do so and seize property in that manner. You know, sometimes, you know, we find these types of bikes when they've been disassembled, abandoned, and we can impound them. Sometimes we find fully assembled bikes abandoned, and we can impound them. And oftentimes those bikes we post them online, oftentimes they end up back in the hands of their owners, but many of them don't. And it's a really difficult thing to see people's property be taken, which we believe that many of them are stolen. But again, what I would encourage people to do is report. If your bike has been stolen, please report it. If not anything else, it helps us to get that property back in these types of situations, because we do run them. We do run them against our reports, and if the VIN number hasn't been obliterated, if it's been reported, at the least we can impound it and get it back. And in many situations, we can make arrests on those incidents. So a lot of work to be done, but we also need people to report when their bikes are stolen.
At this time, there are no callers in the queue. Again, if you are calling into the meeting for public comment, please call 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2485-429-8818 and password 8378. You may press *3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment. You will be prompted when you have been unmuted and it is your turn to speak.
And while we're waiting on the next caller, I would just, a caller had asked about the arson. No arrest has been made up to this point. We believe that that incident may have been domestic violence related, and that's still under investigation. But there is an arrest warrant pending. So we are looking for that person, but we have not arrested that person at this point.
I have another question about a committed of resources. Then I asked on behalf of the neighborhood for increased police presence. And you mentioned, Captain, that you would up, quote unquote, up police presence, and that you are using overtime, you're using overtime based to protect your neighborhood. Are there any specific commitments that you can make to the neighbors to keep us safe, like committing to certain passing calls over the course of the next month or two? We're pretty rattled by this. We had children that had to hunker down in bathtubs with their parents. We had cars shot at. I mean, this is very unsettling to live. I've lived from this location. And I have to say it's not that reassuring to hear that presence will be upped without specific commitments. And then the second question, and I'll let you answer, is I'm just curious about whether or not there's a common sense partnership that the police make around prop shops. And when you see piles of bikes at encampments, as you do in the Mission and along Shotwell, that you can make a common sense assumption that there's an active prop shop there and you can go in and investigate. Because just saying you can't do anything because these parts are all disassembled and can't be identified just doesn't really, not really creative in solving the problem. You look at an encampment with people doing drugs, smoking crack, and working on new bikes, and you can make a common sense assumption about what's going on there. And I, as a resident, would request that you clear that encampment and clear that chop shop, because there's dangerous criminal activity going on there. So is there work being done in the police around how you can address this issue on a more creative, with more
Yes, Caller. Let me first say about the commitment with the extra deployment. We are committed, and we're going to keep it going as long as we can, because we have to and we need to. In terms of the encampments and the chop shops, we do have officers that work these chop shops and fencing operations. Again, though, we have to be legal in how we approach this, and we have to have a probable cause to seize property. Even though it's chopped up and in parts and in pieces, if it's not reported stolen and somebody is in possession of it, Oftentimes, we do not have the ability to do that. We have to be legal in how we approach that situation. But we do work on those types of instances. In terms of the encampments and the chop shops, which oftentimes they do go hand in hand, we just upped our deployment. Actually, it starts this Saturday with the unit that works with the homeless and supportive housing. And we just added another 8 officers to that deployment. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 8 officers, when they're committed to a single purpose, can do quite a bit of work. And when we work in partnership with our city partners at the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing, we're able to resolve many of these encampments successfully, including the property that's out on the streets that goes along with it. We have to be consistent in doing that, but we have recommitted those officers back to that detail, and that will happen this Saturday. The officers have already been identified, and that will start back up this Saturday. We had to cut that when our staffing really was depleted, but we are re-engaging in that effort and working with our city partners. So, I know that's it's not as much as we would like to do in an ideal situation, but definitely it can go a long way in terms of helping to resolve these encampments when we work in partnership and have a committed unit of officers doing that. So I hope that answers your question, and thank you for your questions and comments.
At this time, we have no callers in the queue. If you wish to call in for public comment, please call 1-415-655-0001, enter meeting code 2485-429-8818, and enter password 8378. You may press star 3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment, and you will be prompted when you have been unmuted and it is your turn to speak.
So I'd like to thank everyone who called in and listened in this evening for today's town hall. Again, your feedback is important, and we always try to make this process better, more transparent as much as we can, and really respond to the feedback that we get from members of the public. So again, thank you for your comments and questions. Mission Station will have a community meeting to address many of the issues that many of you called about. And again, have a good evening, and thank you for joining us this afternoon and this evening.